Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies. Grab your favorite bevy, pull up a chair, and enjoy the ride. Hey, B&B fam. This podcast is sponsored to you by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. Is there something getting in the way of your happiness? I know when I traveled the world, I had many days where BetterHelp's worldwide service of licensed professional therapists could have helped me speak to someone no matter where I was in the world about whatever was happening with my life, and with zero judgment. With their ability to match me with a therapist that best fits me, I know my mental health would have been way better back then. Believe me, I needed it. But I'm here to share a way for you to take back control of your mental health by telling you about BetterHelp's awesome services they have for you to talk with a pro about your life through their app or just online. Whether it is a video session or some simple messaging, their team is here to help. I went to check out the app for myself just to see how easy it was to use, and after a series of questions, I was told I would be able to start matching with a therapist in under 48 hours. And what is super rad is that it's affordable and they even offer financial aid too. So come join the 2 million users that have already been helped and gain back control of your mental health by visiting betterhelp.com/backyards for 10% off your first month. Remember, BetterHelp is therapy done securely online. Don't forget to use the special code BACKYARDS and let BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, help you to start living a happier life today. Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies.
Hi, everybody.
Summer edition.
Except it doesn't feel like summer. It is a little chilly today.
Well, we're recording 2 today.
Yeah.
So we're on our second one. Earlier it was a little warmer.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Sorry, did I just ruin the magic?
Kind of.
I mean...
Spoiler alert. This was recorded weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's all right. We're continuing the first conversation
yes,
now.
We are.
I mean, there's no movie magic to what we do.
No. Just a little
All
bit.
honesty, we don't have to hide.
Magic.
We're not hiding nothing.
Nope.
And actually, that's kind of a funny thing because lately I've been journaling.
You have been.
And part of the conversation we had earlier was about this new program I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't really figure out what we wanted to do, but we knew we had to do 2 episodes today. So we said, well, we'll do one about this new program that I'm on called Responsible Living, which dives into the brain and all these things and how emotions and brain waves and all of that tie together with our daily lives. And it's basically... I'm holding myself responsible for things that I do, that I can control.
Right.
Like, I can't control what my mom or dad did when I was 5. That's on them, and I don't have to be responsible for them.
Right.
But I have to be responsible for my little people, and I can't take out what happened to me on them.
Right.
But in that, part of my homework, I have homework. It's crazy. Stupid. I have to journal, which isn't weird because I was journaling, I think, during the
pandemic, we journaled a good amount.
Well, we started with one journal, and then I went off and started another.
Yeah, well, we did like a journal app at first, and then you started actually like writing
journal
in a journal, yeah.
And now... I stopped that, not for any reason other than I started writing.
Right.
Way more and way deeper. And we've talked about this before on the book, how initially I think I was writing a kind of a hit piece, like a big finger to the...
Yeah, it was an FU to the industry kind of.
Yeah, big middle finger to the industry that I thought I lost. It wasn't that way.
Right.
I chose to leave.
Right.
On my own terms, but it took me going through some emotion, and so I've realized that like one of the coolest things that's come from me writing this novel has been, I honestly feel weight lifted off my shoulders. It's a therapy in a way.
Absolutely.
And so when I started this program, like we said on the last episode, I'm only by now.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, you'll be like 5 weeks. You're probably like halfway done.
Well, we are skipping a couple, so I think I'll be like on my 4th session. So, in the first session, though, she asked me to journal. And part of it was and I like journaling, But I think one thing that I found that got me when I was journaling is I do like destinations. Like I like to get somewhere. I found myself writing just like not junk, but I just didn't find myself really engaging towards the end of my
You were kind of writing your journal because it was like, oh, I need to write in this because I do this every day.
Yeah.
More than like, I'm writing about this because I need to like process these
exactly.
things.
And so I would find myself writing very similar things every day. So I stopped. I was like, I'm just kind of wasting time now.
Yeah.
Which was smart. It was fine. It got me through one point that I needed, moved on to the next. Now I'm here. This journaling has very specific functions to it. First off, you have to state a significant thing that happened.
That day?
This day. Yeah. Today.
Okay.
And, you know, I think there isn't a right or wrong answer, but a significant thing, you know? And so it really makes you think, like, well, what was significant about today that wasn't yesterday? You know, did I go through something that was of value, or did I fail at something of value, or did I? And that's the way I took it. As I really dove into not just like, oh, BK came home today and brought me McDonald's. Yay. Like that's not significant.
No.
Like that's just like normal life, right?
Right.
But at one point I was saying, like, let me think back now. It's been a minute. Actually, it hasn't.
Not that long.
One of the things that I was specific about was I had finished editing a chapter. But though that seems simple because, well, I've edited them now. I've edited 20 chapters 9 times now.
Right.
It wasn't, because this one specifically, what I'm doing to these chapters, this go around, is pushing my brain to a different level of imagination.
Yeah.
I'm having to really dive into something that I'm new to, but I know that it's going to translate on the other end in a better story for everyone. And so that's why we took the initiative to say, okay, well, let's do this about the book, because I think that will end up helping open up our dog is, someone's at the front door, so our dog is going crazy. If you can hear him, he is fine. He just is super
he just wants
excited.
to say hello.
So the so editing this one chapter was very time consuming because it was dealing with one of the main characters. And so that was a significant thing. But inside the day, it then asks inside this journal 4 emotions: mad, glad, sad, and afraid.
Okay.
And I think that was what really brought this journaling to a new thing, like a new horizon for me. It was like, okay, well, cool, yeah, I had like a good day because I finished this chapter. But then all of a sudden it asked me like, well, what are you afraid about?
Yeah, like what were you afraid of today? And it's like, oh, was I afraid today? And then you have to really really analyze what you went through that day.
Exactly. And what was surprising was I was like, man, like, what am I afraid of? And I said it, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, I really was afraid. And I wasn't just, like, having this, like, it wasn't a made-up afraid, like, oh, I'm afraid I won't make it as a writer.
Right.
Again, that's a simple, and we were talking about this last time, there's simple answers in life. Like, one of the things I'm not supposed to do right now is say why. I'm trying not to say no. Because those are simple outs and simple answers as opposed to, well, what really today was I afraid of? And so I thought that was a really cool thing. And that's why I thought that talking about journaling would be cool for our listeners to hear, because I think what last episode really, really brought out is that you shouldn't be afraid to push your brain into new avenues. I also don't think you should be afraid to ask yourself hard questions that you might get an answer that you're not really maybe wanting, but it might open a light on to like, oh.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like really reflect.
Yeah.
Not like surface level, but like get into the deep, dirty stuff that you're going to end up growing from one way or another.
And you may never go back and read and see that was what started to get annoying when I was doing the other journaling was I I was just journaling just to journal, right? And so by the end, well, I'm never going to want to go back and read that because a lot of it was junk at this point now. Right. Or not, I don't say junk, but a lot of it was the same. Yeah, it was just like, oh, so yeah, today I blah, 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 blah. This is deep. I may never read it again, but I felt better getting it out. I was like, that like really got it off my chest.
And you didn't even realize you needed something off your chest.
I didn't.
You'd have been like, it was a great day. And it's like, well, there's no way that the entire day could have been great. Overall, the result was great.
Yeah.
But you definitely went through peaks and valleys throughout the day. So let's talk about not only the peaks, but the valleys.
And the significant event was the peak. But what surrounded it? What was at the base of it? Right. Because inside the writing that I did for that day, you know, it's crazy because now I'm writing again. We have another deadline. And I'm writing on a afternoon and an evening, right? So, you know, I'm spending about 4 hours a day just in-depth writing. So I'm doing these journalings at the end of already writing again. So it's like...
doing lots of writing.
I mean, it is intense, but what's really cool and what's really pushing me is that I can look back at how I used to journal, and not that I really use super over-the-top sophisticated words now, but I definitely elaborate a lot more.
Yeah.
I paint a picture even for myself. Even if I'm going through it, I'm still painting the picture for myself because ultimately I want to see it. So if I could read it to someone and someone go, oh yeah, I see what you just painted. Like,
yeah, like I get that.
I get that. I have that same feeling. Like, I think it's, so I think it's handy. And I think that's why journaling, I'm taking this new journaling into a really, like a different thought process or a different level of like, how can we get better too? Because I was reading my journals to you.
You were, which I actually really, I think it's cool that you feel comfortable enough with the process that you're going through and comfortable enough with me to be able to talk about those things that you're putting in your journal, because I think it's healthy for us to talk about them as well, because it also makes me look deeper at my day and my interactions with you and stuff like that. And it helps me to figure out how to be a better partner to you and stuff like that. So I have really valued this experience, even though I'm not part of the course you're taking. I still feel like it's affecting me because of how it's affecting you and you sharing those experiences with me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, well, and maybe we've said this before, but like, I don't want to have the same relationship my parents had. It was unhealthy. I mean, it just was like, there is no, you know, as I can look back and no matter what they tell me, sure, at one point they were happy because clearly they got married and had me.
Right. Clearly.
But after that.
But then, you know, things took a different turn and it ended up going the way that it went.
And whatever made it go that way, that's on them, not on me. But I don't want to go down that route. And I'm just going to take a wild stab at it that most relationships fail because of a lack of communication.
Right.
So if I can be, and one of the steps we were talking about that, it's like, this is a 12-step program, not for...
So living a responsible life.
To really, So, but it's not like, you know, 12 steps to, I don't have to go apologize to someone isn't one of the steps, but they're deeper. They're a little more on me, the steps. And one of the steps is definitely, I just lost my train of thought.
About communicating.
Yeah.
Communicating.
Oh, being honest. That's what I wanted to say. I another one popped into my brain. I was like, wait, no, that wasn't it. Oh, wait, get out of here. It's about being as honest as I possibly can when I talk, and that's hard, you know. Like, I think that's hard in a relationship because you're wanting to please the other person. Being honest isn't always going to please the other person.
True. That's very true.
It's going to actually probably bring up harder things for you, but again, But
talking through it is what makes the difference.
Talking through it changes it. But I have recently, over the last couple of years, I've been saying this to you for a while, maybe in private, and maybe on the show. But what's the harder hard? right now or 10 years from now.
Yeah. We've talked about, that's a problem for future Phil. And it's like, no, that's not the way to go about things.
There it is.
You don't go about, that's something that future me can worry about. Like, no, because by the time future you worries about it, it's going to be exponentially worse than if current you just handled it and confronted it and moved forward.
Exactly. Because that little mine or that little anthill was an anthill.
It's going to turn into a mountain over time.
And especially over like 10 years of time or 20 years of time.
Yeah.
And so that is that harder hard, like what's the harder hard right now for me when I wake up at 4:15 in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really waking up at 4:15 in the morning and going to bed at a responsible time and not drinking the night before? Or is it going to be really hard for me when I'm 70 and I can't touch my toes and I can't tie my shoes and then I can't do anything? That's the harder hard, right?
Absolutely.
So right here, same thing. Like I'm having to live responsible for myself now and be honest about things, which sucks because I have, for the better half of the 40 years, lived a very happy life telling white lies.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Some of them probably bigger than others.
Yeah.
But it was what got me through a lot of, I think, things I didn't want to bring up. Now it's like, okay, well, yeah. You know what? I had made a lot of shitty things, mistakes in my past. And one of the things that we've chatted about is, well, as I get closer to becoming a published author, there's a high potential that there's things that come out about me or that someone just really doesn't like me and says something. Well, yeah, we'll have to go down that road then. But the one thing that I can be when something does happen like that is be as honest as possible and just straight up own it and say, yeah, I did that. But who doesn't have a past like that?
For sure.
So I think journaling too, if you're looking for a destination, which this is forcing me to look for that destination, is allowing me to do that exact thing. It's allowing me to be as honest and open with myself as possible. Because at the end of the day, if you're lying to yourself, then you're lying to the person next to you, and then you're lying to the person behind them, and then you're just you're living a lie, and that's what I used to do, and it was so it really was hard on me.
Well, yeah.
I used to feel it in my body, hard.
Yeah.
And that's a real you want to talk about a real thing? Like that's a real thing.
Yeah, physically, it definitely affected you.
Yeah, like to the point where my butt hurt.
Yeah, literally.
And I know that some of these listeners probably are like, "Whoa,
Not TMI."
You said butt." But it is so much nicer these days to be open to you, and so reading that to you is really nothing. Writing it's the hard part.
Yeah.
Getting it out is the hard part. Like getting it from...
And once it's out, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Like, okay.
Now I can move forward from this.
But what it does is it usually sparks a deeper conversation between you and me. And we usually tend to have our conversations when we're right about to go to bed. Like we tend to have early morning good conversations before you go to work or over breakfast. I think our dinner time, it's hit
more
or miss.
Kid-focused.
Yeah, we talk about the kids or how your day went a lot of times because you're usually just getting back from work, so it's all about you.
False. Totally false.
You're like, oh, Phil, you just cleaned the house again. No, boring.
Oh, whatever. Don't even paint that picture to our listeners. There you go, not telling the truth. Little white lies are coming out again.
I'm telling a story. It's a fictional tale.
A fictional tale. There's the disclaimer.
Yeah. I'm good at fictional tales.
You are.
That's why my book is going to be so good.
It's going to be great.
Told fictional tales my whole life.
That's very true.
But then we tend to, before bed, part of, I think, our unwinding is diving into something that if we had any issues that day, we kind of talk it out, which I think is very healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I sleep better. I sleep like a 4-year-old right now.
You do, like a champ.
Like a not a newborn because they sleep like shit, but
Yeah.
like I sleep
like a 6-month-old, like our daughter.
sleep hard.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice because I think that that's part of that, you know, you want childlike things in your life at the same time, but you don't want to be a child your whole life.
Right.
You know, like and I think that is that child quality is loving and brutal honesty. You know, because you ask a 5-year-old how you look,
they'll tell you straight up what they think.
They're gonna tell you, and it's and that's why when I read certain things, when they say like, oh, you know, that you want to be like a child, or and I'm saying it the wrong way, but there is a quality to a child that is so pure, and that's such a cool thing to have, because you lose it as you get older, because you start to be self-conscious about what others think of you. And I think that journaling, though, and that experience of journaling allows you to be open and honest to yourself, and hopefully then that takes that fear away of what others think, because
it doesn't matter,
because well, everybody's going through it, right? So if you're going through something that's, you know, hard, your friend is going through something hard too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, like I talk to one of my best friends quite often, and it's usually because, you know, he's driving in his car and we have the ability. I'm usually letting the kids just run around the house naked, doing whatever they want.
You're not.
So yeah, like while I'm eating bonbons and sitting on the couch.
Stop. Never.
He's in bumper to bumper traffic, and we're having a conversation. And a lot of the times we're having these really deep conversations. 10 years ago, our conversations were something completely different, but right now we're talking a lot about that whole growing aspect and going through all these things that we're going through, and they're hard, and they're not fun.
No.
None of it's fun.
No.
But it is fun.
But it ends up turning into something so much better once you go through it all.
Yeah, that the aim in life is different, I think, when you really start to realize that, well, for one, I'm not 20. If I like the same things that I did when I was 20...
Bigger issues.
I have bigger issues.
Yes.
It's okay. Like, I still like dirt bikes.
Yeah, that's different.
But that's not... Yeah.
But your life isn't revolving around dirt bikes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's a different thing.
Priorities change.
Yeah. So if I still lived that 18-year-old Phil life, well, we wouldn't be here.
No, we would not.
I wouldn't be changing diapers.
Nope.
There'd be a whole different... If I was here, there'd be like, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the point, though, when it comes to journaling as well, is that, you know, right now, even though I've only done this, and well, by the time this airs, I probably would have done, you know, 20 more of these. And I don't know if I'm going to go forever with it, but I know that if I'm ever having a hard day,
it's a good thing to go back to.
It is a really cool thing to at least, like, if I can't pick something out,
then you can sit down and really think about it.
I could sit down and look at those 4 emotions, and then look at what happened in the day that was big for me, good or bad, because it's not like only write the good thing.
No, yeah. All the things.
All the things. And so I think that's one of those things that this mentor of mine says it's a tool for your toolbox for your mental health.
Love that.
Right?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
So one more time for our listeners, if they want to try doing this themselves, what are the things that you write down?
I'm not going to tell you what I wrote down.
No.
I'm just playing.
The types of things. So it's like...
So the significant event of the day, right? So whatever happened to you big that day that isn't you getting something normal, right? And then it's...
what made you
mad? Glad, sad, or afraid.
Perfect. And you do all 4.
You have to write down all 4, because you will find. At first, I thought it was like, oh, do I just write down the one that I feel? And she was like, no,
all 4.
All 4.
Yeah,
every
really
day.
Think about it.
I was like, that's gonna be hard. It wasn't. It really was. I was like, oh yeah, I was mad about this, but then mad led into, you know, it was really funny. Usually, mad led into a glad. Like, I was mad about this. Then when I would get to glad, it was like, but I was kind of happy that it went through there. Yeah.
Interesting.
And sad, usually I felt, or so far I feel like it leads me into, like one of them I was talking about was the book. Like something really big happened to us with the book, but sad came out of it because I realized that through that I was going to have to say goodbye to some other things. And so I think that that's the interesting part, though, is like something big happened, but actually the emotion that I got out of it.
You had multiple emotions out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
which is a normal thing, but it's not. You don't think it's normal at first, like especially when the big significant thing is something amazing.
Yeah,
you don't think, well, something really awesome happened, and so I had all these glad emotions. You don't think, but then I also had sad emotions and afraid emotions and mad emotions, all caused by one big good thing. And you can.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been interesting to experience it on in a healthy mindset.
That's awesome.
And I think that I'm only getting healthier in my mind.
Yeah.
Though I have days where I still feel like I should just go jump off a cliff.
Well, don't do that.
Thankfully, in Tennessee, there's not a lot of cliffs.
Okay. We're not going there.
I kid. No, I but it's true, though. I mean, like, yeah, like, I think that, again, behind any joke, there's a little bit of seriousness. Like, some days, yeah, you do want to just be like,
I'm done with this.
I'm going to go Wile E. Coyote this here in a few minutes. Where's the Acme
the
anvil when I need it? All right. Journaling.
Good stuff.
It's a good, I think it's healthy.
Yeah. I'm glad that it's something that you're enjoying doing and that you're seeing the benefits of it already. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I'll probably go through many more different types of journaling, especially like since I wrote a 450-page journal.
Yeah, basically. Fictional journal.
Fictional journal. Yes. Yeah. None of it's real.
No.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to us again on your favorite morning show, Backyards and Bevvies.
Morning, afternoon, evening, whenever it is you listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
Any time of the day.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Easy, soft listening coming up next.
Yeah. Hope you have a wonderful day.
I hope you have
a wonderful week.
Oh, thank you. Well, I hope our listeners have a wonderful, happy day.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
But you too.
You said you.
You too.
You said you.
You as in you all.
Oh, you all.
Yes.
Oh. I thought you were talking about this single listener here.
Certainly you.
Singular.
Yes.
Cheers and bottoms up.
Bottoms up, guys.
Much love. Thank you.